influence were through Tarzan movies, basically, or these almost like minstrel in some sense. But I remember when I was 10, 11 years old, Ghana received its independence, and when I was looking at television, the people who were accepting now stewardship of the country of Ghana didn't look like the people that I saw in Tarzan movies. You know, all of a sudden, there's a disconnect or another connection that you begin to have with Africans, and the fact that even then, as a 10-year-old child, I didn't see my connection as an African, a displaced African in that way. Since that may have been too, that was not a part of my culture.
Right.
At least the subculture, they were part of other cultures in other ways, in various other forms in other areas, but not from that. I didn't come out of that that culture.
Right.
So for me, as an African descendant, for me, those are things that began to materialize for me as I got older, and particularly in my youth, when I began to read, I began to listen to music, African music, whether it was the music of Mary Makeba or with the music of Dalla Brand, or Hugh Masekela, or Olantunji, Drums of Passions, that I remember seeing. I remember listening to them. So these other images that came in that were now introduced to me in various ways came at a particular point in time, and this would begin when the period of that swept the continent here, when you had those newly decolonized countries, and they began to set the tone with the images that I saw.
But what you're saying is so important, because what you're demonstrating here is how powerful media is in terms of influencing your wiring and your thinking and your mentality in your head. And even though you were influenced at a young age, an impressionable age, it wasn't just a switch, it was a process to actually deconstruct all of that wiring that you'd gotten before from media. And then you got that first sort of image of emancipation, and it was still a process for you then individually from a 10-year-old to then emancipate yourself.
Well, there was certainly the same kind of translation for me. The moment I saw Sidney Poitier on screen, the first time as a child, it was another image that I had never seen before. But basically, in terms of media, in terms of a system that makes images, creates images, and that was white. That was Hollywood, white controlled images. Those images that were allowed to exist.
When did it occur to you that this is what you want to do? And you wanted to be an actor?
I'm going to really occur to me what?
That you wanted to be a creative, an actor in the film industry.
Well, the things that I think there's so many dynamics that happen within our lifetime. You know, I think whenever there's a movement, there's something that also is connected to that movement, and that is the instrument of yourself as an instrument for change. So these instruments for change were not simply instruments for change, they were transformative instruments for change. How people use themselves. And so the images around, the new images around Black art were certainly introduced to me. And interestingly enough, the Free Southern Theater Company, which was an instrument of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, 1961, 1962, those instruments were they used theater and art as a way of allowing people to see or to recreate themselves, transform themselves. So these images that I first saw in Black art were new images for me as well. Now let me say, we say the image, I said the image in the public space. In the public space, and that space is the controlled media of Sidney Poitier, showed me something different I saw something different. Now, there had been others before Sidney Poitier, no doubt about that. There was Paul Robeson before Sidney Poitier. There was Canada Lee before Sidney Poitier. So there were other interests, images that were, and often those images were in films. Oscar Micheaux was a great filmmaker. Oscar Micheaux, who from about 1920